Hello everyone, this is Scripted Trading, and in this video I am going to demonstrate my real-time relative volume scanner for ThinkOrSwim. If you are a fast trader, this is a great tool for quickly identifying stocks that had big news drops intraday, pulling up the chart, and entering a trade early in a news-related price move. If you trade options like me, that could mean a quick 50%, 100%, or more on a trade. Now that being said, it could also mean quick losses. So if you're not experienced with this style of trading, I suggest using this tool to observe the way stocks move when they get news, or taking trades with small size while you're still figuring out how to get in and out quickly and which signals are worthy of a trade. I've been practicing news and volume trading a few months now, and there are a few basic guidelines anyone who wants to try this should know. A spike in volume may not result in a significant price movement or any price movement whatsoever, so don't take a trade just because a stock gets a big volume spike. A spike in volume that results from a news drop may not result in continuation in the initial direction of the move. That's because not all news is the same quality. It takes some screen time and experience to be able to quickly separate the high quality signals from the low quality ones. So on my screen right now, I've got some live price action recorded from Monday, October 17th. There were some decent news drops that day, and I took a few trades from signals on the scanner. Before we see those real-time examples, I'll describe my setup on the screen here, how the scanner works, and how I use it in confluence with news sources. So here on the screen, I've got my multi-chart grid. From right to left, I've got the 2-minute chart, 5-minute chart, and 15-minute chart. And at the bottom of each of those, I've got the volume displayed. Now in the top left, I also have a daily chart, but for the sake of this video, that's covered by my master watch list, which has about 200 tickers on it. Most of these are names with weekly options since I'm an options trader. I also have the watch list and the charts all set to the red color link so that they're all linked together. This makes it easy to quickly flip my charts to different tickers just by clicking them on the watch list. Now on the watch list, you'll notice the rightmost column is my volume scanner that I've made. Right now it's showing pink and blue signals, but there are actually 6 different colored signals. Pink and blue are the lowest 2 volume signals, and after that there is light green, green, yellow, and orange. Orange being the highest volume signal. So what this is actually doing is making a comparison of the volume that has come in over the last few minutes to an average volume. If 3 times the average volume comes in, it throws a signal. And if 20 times or more the average volume comes in, you get the highest signal, which is orange. So that's how it works. The next thing is I have the volume scanner column sorted highest to lowest. That way I'm always seeing the stocks with the highest volume spikes at the top of the list. I pay the most attention to yellow and orange signals since those are the highest signals. Light green, green, blue, and pink I'll check if not much else is going on. What this all means is that I can monitor over 200 stocks for significant volume spikes with barely any effort. The last piece of the puzzle is monitoring the news. You can't really gauge the quality of the volume signals without seeing the news that might be causing the signal in the first place. So to monitor news, there are 2 Twitter accounts I follow, Fast Stock Market News and Walter Bloomberg. I turn their alerts on so that anytime they tweet, I get a notification on my phone and I can cross-reference the news with the signals I'm seeing on my scanner. In many cases, I'm already aware of the volume spike and have the chart pulled up because of the scanner before my news sources even have a chance to send their tweet. That's the power of the scanner. You get the signal before you see the news. Now let's take a look at a few trades I took using signals from the scanner. Okay, so jumping forward to midday, I take a news trade on CANO Healthcare, CANO. You can see it on the watch list now. It's giving a light green volume signal. That's not one of the higher signals, so I don't immediately pull the chart up. Then it moves up to green and then yellow, so that catches my eye and I decide to pull up the chart to investigate. I see it taking a hard dive with over 1 million volume on the 2-minute candle, so it looks like a potential trade. Now I'm already familiar with recent news on this ticker that they might be getting bought by CVS, so my first suspicion is that there must have been some bad news relating to that deal. If that's true, this could be a high quality trade opportunity. But I haven't seen any news to confirm that, so I don't jump in the trade right away. And I know from experience that price can jump back up just as quickly as it went down, so I take a wait and see approach. Also, the options on this had a pretty big spread between the bid and the ask, making it even more difficult to get a good entry. Okay, so I haven't entered the trade yet, but this pullback that's developing looks like an attractive spot to get in. If you look at the volume on the 2-minute chart, this green pullback candle has much lower volume than the previous red candle. That signals that buyers are weak and sellers could retake control, and we could possibly see more continuation to the downside. So I get into the trade here and let's see what happens. Okay, so I sped this up 20 times normal speed so that we could see the price action play out quickly. But you can see I got a great entry on that pullback candle. It was followed by a giant red candle with over 2 million volume on it. And I caught a nearly 70-cent move to the downside on a $7 stock. That's 10%. And right here in the trade is where I see the tweet come through from Fast Stock Market News that CVS Health is not pursuing the CANO Health deal. That's kind of what I suspected when I first looked at the chart, but because I had my volume scanner, I was able to pull this chart up 7 or 8 minutes before any of my favorite news sources could alert me to the relevant news. And that's the edge that volume gives you over just news alone. No news source, regardless of how fast it is going to be able to alert quicker than the actual volume in the stock market. So I'm still in the trade. Let's see how the rest of it plays out. Okay, so I caught another 30-cent to 40-cent move to the downside. We're hitting these daily SMAs. That's the yellow and blue lines on my charts. And I figure this is an area of support, so I cut the trade here for a 100% gain. Now, it wasn't a lot of money because it was only one contract, but this is an example of how high quality news catalysts can drop during the trading day and cause big moves in the stock. And with this scanner, you can monitor hundreds of stocks simultaneously, getting alerts to volume spikes that could be associated to news catalysts, allowing you to get to the trade earlier than just monitoring a news source. Now, as it happens, I actually got out of this trade too early. Over the next 10 minutes, it dropped another 70 cents, hitting a bottom of $5.30. But it's not realistic to expect to hit the bottom tick or top tick on a trade anyways. Now, if I pull up the chart for the put contract I was in, I see it hit a top of 0.4. I actually sold mine at 0.2, so maybe I could have gotten a better fill at 0.3 if I had held longer, making it a 200% trade instead of a 100% trade. Now let's jump forward in the day and see another trade I took from the scanner. Okay, looking at the scanner, we have a green signal on tan. I've never actually taken a news trade on that. Then we see URNM and CCJ pop up with orange and green signals, and then CCJ moves to yellow. These are both uranium names. I've done a lot of trades on CCJ before. I know it's usually just good for a quick scalp, so I'm looking to get in. I don't see any news coming through at this time, but I go ahead and get in. I put in an order for 4 contracts and I get filled right there. And let's see what happens. Okay, so it starts to pump pretty well, and I'm looking to sell my first half of this position. And I sell right there, out half, and then I see the news come through from Fast Stock Market News that Germany to extend lifetime of all 3 nuclear power plants. So that's the news that's causing this pump, and I'm already in and out of half of the trade before I even see the news tweet come through, and I just sold the last half. I got a 22% gain on the first half, a small gain on the second half, for an overall gain of 14%. It's not big, but that's what I expected because of my past experience with this name. You have to take what you can get. And all because of the scanner, I was able to get to this early enough to get that scalp in. And not long after this trade, the scanner gave me signals for Visa and MasterCard. I took a trade on that for a 32% gain. So let's jump forward and take a look. Now on this trade, my news sources are almost as fast as my scanner. If you keep your eyes on the scanner, you'll see MasterCard and Visa appear in a couple seconds. And within seconds of that, I see a tweet from Fast Stock Market News that the FTC is probing MasterCard and Visa. But regardless, I was distracted with charting Tesla, and I didn't see them on the scanner, and I didn't see the tweet, so it took me a few seconds to get to the chart and enter a trade. Once I finally pull up the chart, I see that MasterCard is selling off on high volume, and because I know that this news affects both MasterCard and Visa, off screen I compare both option chains and decide that Visa gives me the better trade opportunity, so I go short on Visa during this 2-minute pullback, and just like on the CANO trade, this green pullback candle on the 2-minute chart has much lower volume than the previous red candle, suggesting that buyers are not retaking control and that sellers will soon take over and we could see more continuation to the downside. So let's fast forward and see what happens. I switched over to the Visa chart, and as I was expecting, sellers did retake control and we saw more continuation to the downside. Then another pullback starts developing and I decide to exit the trade here. I get out for a 32% gain, but after I exited the trade, there was a much harder sell-off and I could have gotten a much better gain. So I'll speed up the video to watch that sell-off play out, but this is the last trade of the video, and in the next section I'll show you how to set up the scanner after downloading. If you want to purchase the scanner, use the link in the description below the video. After purchasing, you'll receive a downloadable text file containing the script. Open that text file and pull up a watch list from ThinkOrSwim. On the watch list, click this small gear icon in the upper right corner. That will open the window that lets you add and remove columns from the watch list. Most of these are predefined columns, but there are several blank editable columns that allow you to add custom scripts. To find those, type the word custom into this search bar. Most of mine you see here I've already used and renamed, but I have a blank one at the bottom that I can add the script to. So find an unused custom column and select its icon on the left side. That will open up the scripting window in which you can add the volume scan script. Once here, go ahead and delete the default name and replace it. I put relvol for relative volume since this is a relative volume scanner. Then change the time frame from daily to the 3-minute time frame. That's the time frame that this scanner uses. Also, make sure that the include extended hours trading option is unchecked, then delete whatever default conditions are shown and switch to the Think Script Editor tab. This is where you can paste the script from the text file. Copy everything from the text file and paste it into this tab. After all that, the script is ready to be used. Click OK, and back in the column selection window, move your new relvol column to the right side and click OK again. And now you've got the column on your watch list. Click at the top of the column to sort it highest to lowest, and you're ready to go.